Hello, guys. Welcome to All Things Business, and I am Sheridan. I know I have been MIA for probably a week or two, but I have great news. Everything has been taken off as I have not really expected, but nonetheless, I am back. I'm working and learning social media as well as a lot of other things that have been taking place. So hopefully I can flow a little bit easier, but I'm trying. I'm learning technology. I'm learning social media. It's a little ugly right now, but it's gonna get better. I promise you. But today I am coming to you guys because I want to talk to you all about business being transactional. And a lot of people feel as if when they get into business, of course, we just want to get into business because initially we want to make money. And because we want to make money, we believe that we have to be nice. And a lot of times in being nice, we believe that in being nice, we have to be the person that do what's necessary because the customer is always right. That's the furthest thing from the truth. I mean, the furthest thing. As my time throughout my entrepreneurial journey, I have been one of those individuals that was definitely a people pleaser. And in previous videos, if you go back and watch, a lot of it probably me just rambling, but then again, it's also me telling my story. And you'll hear most of my story. So, for the most part, I was definitely a people pleaser. And I was a people pleaser because I had grown up in a very chaotic household and I had to be hyper vigilant. I had to do things that would allow me to stay out of the way so I would not get, fussed at, swung on, or just whatever that day my mom may have been feeling. So I learned to please and watch her emotions in order for me to survive. So after that, I became living, an individual living in survival all the time, whether it didn't matter. I was always in survival. And that trailed over into me becoming an entrepreneur and believing that I had to people please everybody and watch how everybody saw me. I had to be perfect. I had to be this individual that did, certain amount of things. However, again, that was furthest from the truth as well. But I learned that in business, people pleasing will cause you to go in a dark hole. I mean, a dark hole. And I can say most of my depression, most of my darkest times came from me on my entrepreneurial journey and me people pleasing. Yeah. If you hear me clicking, I'm also working on file while I'm talking to you guys. So I'm trying to multitask. But it came from me people pleasing. And a lot of times I felt that if I was a nice person, that people would see me as someone that they could trust. Craziest thing, I didn't trust myself. Not that I didn't trust myself because something was wrong with me or because I was a, shady character. I didn't trust myself because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in myself. I believed in what I had been trying to do. And I believed in what I was capable of doing because what I would do would make me money. It would make me a lot of money. It would make me fast money. So I became quick and trusting in that. But to trust in myself, I did not trust myself at all. So I people pleased. I did everything. I was paying people bills. I was trying to make sure I overcompensated for my contractors, my employees, people that was around me, people that up until maybe about 2 years ago, I officially stopped answering my phone and listening to the sad sob stories of individuals who would only call me for money. Nobody would call and be like, hey, how are you and the kids? Is everything going well? Do you need anything? Can I help you watch the kids? Nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. And I felt that it was okay because I thought I was strong enough. And I would use that as an excuse to say, oh, it's okay, you strong, you've been through a lot, you can keep going, it's okay. And I people pleased the hell out of myself, right into depression, right into a manic episode, and almost right into a mental health facility. And the craziest thing is that I owned a mental health facility, right? So I really have learned that business is transactional, and you have to know what you are transacting in business. You have to know. A lot of times we think that just because we're making good money and just because it seems like it's going well, that we are offering something, whether it be our time and effort, me doing videos like this, me working on my other social media platforms, or whatever it is. We're transacting our time, we're transacting our experience, we're transacting our intellect. Sometimes we have to pay other people or other parties for services that we might need help with. We're transacting our money. Everything is transactional in business. Now, the thing that a lot of people don't understand or don't have an awareness of is that emotionally, you're transacting your emotions. And if you are not emotionally intelligent, if you are not just mentally stable or mentally, I say intelligent, you are not realizing that you are transacting your energy. Your energy is very pricey and it can cost a lot. But a lot of times we want to save the world. Most times an entrepreneur is born out of adversity. I don't care what you say, most entrepreneurs are born out of adversity. Take Elon Musk. His dad was so verbally and mentally and emotionally abusive to him that he honestly did a lot of the things that he has done to spite his father. Now, granted, he has done extremely well. But if you go read Elon Musk's story, it's definitely despite his father. So you got to look at, Oprah and all of these other individuals. They did a lot of the things that they have done and became who they are now because of adversity. And also, they had become aware that transacting their mental, spiritual, emotional, and even their intellect was costly. And it cost them dearly in their early on before they got to who they were, at this time and stage of life. So a lot of times we just assume that we're in business and people have to like us. People don't have to like you at all. I don't care what stage of business you're in. People don't have to like you. I have grown so confident in myself, and I have grown. I am proud of me. I am so proud of me because I have grown to a stage. I guess maybe, like they say, when you get with age, you start to just not care. You start to not care. I am so confident and secure within myself at this stage and age of my life to where I'm like those old women. I say whatever I want to say. I don't care. If you like me, you like me. You don't, I do not care. I just have the least bit of concern about someone liking me at this stage of my life. And what's funny is getting back on social media and being able to see myself gain and generate a following the way I have been, just being authentic. Just being authentic because I've learned there's a lot to transact in business, and I'm not going to expense out my energy and my emotional well-being for the likes, the love, and the validation of my clients, my social media base, or anybody. I am even at a space in my life now. If you know me, on a personal level, you guys can get to know me on a personal level just a little bit. I have a 16-year-old and I also have a 10-year-old. And I have boundaries even with my kids. You listen, I have boundaries with everybody. And it was necessary for me to create these boundaries because I wanted them to learn boundaries as well as being able to acknowledge that, Sheridan, it's okay. Even with your kids, it's okay to have boundaries, and it's okay to know that you do not have to expense out all of your energy and all of your well-being in order to accommodate everybody else on the outside of you. I had to learn it because I am one of those mamas. I am definitely invested in my baby's mental and emotional. That is my biggest thing. Those are the key factors because nobody was that invested in me at my age and stages of life. So that's my reason to be. But I also being in business, it was something that I'm like, you know what, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep giving everybody, and I've had bad business relationships from bad personal relationships, and you're just like, Lord, when does it end? But it ended with me. It ended with me. It ended with me because I started to realize I was the reason why a lot of those relationships were the way that they were. And they were the way that they were because I was a people pleaser and I did not find the self awareness that everything was transactional. Now, moving over into my business, when I was just so overstimulated early on in the early stages of my business and as an entrepreneur, I was just giving, 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 giving. And like I mentioned, I almost gave myself into a mental facility to where I did have to go to a psychiatrist and get prescribed medication and the whole nine. Mind you, I am not afraid to speak about having to get medications for mental health. I am an advocate because I own a mental health and counseling agency. I am a very much advocate about mental health and mental well-being. And if you are to get on medication, you need to have meds prescribed to you. Please do not be embarrassed and do not be shamed into believing that something is wrong with you because you have to get prescribed medication. I am very much an advocate of it. It may be long term, it may be short term. However, if you are in need of mental health, please get that help. Please take the meds. Please stand tall and be confident in it. Now, back to what I was talking about. I had to get medication. I had to get medication because I was at a point in my life to where I'm like, I'm giving, 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 and no one is giving to me. I mean, absolutely no one. So when I started to realize that the reason why a lot of, I won't say failure in my business, but the reason why a lot of my business ventures didn't go the way that I wanted them to go, and of course, the way that I dreamed for them to go, was simply because I people pleased. I did. I wouldn't, I would hire individuals and I know that they would be crappy. Oh my God, they would be crappy employees, but yet I would not let them go because in my head, I felt like I could save and help and guide and teach them, and they just ran me through the mud. When I started realizing, you know what, this is an issue that plays out in my personal relationships as well as my business relationships, I started realizing it's me. I'm the problem. I am definitely the problem, and I am the one causing this situation. So I feel that a lot of times because we are not aware that we are expensing out all of our mental, spiritual, emotional, and even financial, that we are not aware that the transactions that we are transacting and expensing out is not being any credits or deposits back into our accounts. It's only debited. It's only debits. And a lot of that can create a deficit within your emotional and internal. So when you understand business is transactional, you understand that you have to protect yourself. You have to protect yourself from expensing out everything that you have deposited on the inside of you, everything that God has deposited on the inside of you, and have an understanding that I cannot keep expensing and I am not getting credits. I am not getting deposits. That does not make people like me more. That makes people manipulate and abuse me more. Yes, manipulate and abuse. And I know you're thinking that manipulation and abuse may only come in physical forms. However, that is furthest from the truth as well. You can be emotionally manipulated and emotionally abused simply because you are people pleasing and you refuse to create boundaries. You refuse to create stipulations and restrictions on your energy and your emotions. In business, you do not have friends. I don't care how much you know the person. I don't care how acquainted you get with the person. You do not have friends in business. You will not. You will have acquaintances. You will have customers. You will have clients, and that is it. You will not have friends in business. Try and hire a family member and let a lot of money get involved and see how that turns out. I've had that experience as well. It's not going to turn out for the greater, especially for you. The person that knows the most about you and the one that refuses to acknowledge your boundaries simply because you might be doing business with them or um, you might have something tied to them, they are the ones who will do you the worst. They will do you so bad. I've experienced it firsthand. And a lot of times we get in those spaces and we're wondering, why would you do that? Because you expensed out more than you were deposited into. Not only that, you simply believe that if you people please and transacted out more than what you were deposited and credited, that they would love you more. Oh, this is a family member. Trust me, that has no reasoning for anything. So you learn to be more aware of what you are expensing out and transacting in business. Just also, hopefully in life in general, you begin to be more attentive to your expense of energy, your expense of your emotions, your expense of your mental. And hopefully you allow yourself to be more confident and find more boundaries in anything that you're transacting business wise, personal wise, just life is in general. I just want you guys to know that business is going to always be transactional. There's never going to be a time where you're just going to have someone that legitimately does business with you and not have some type of requirement or expectation of you overexerting yourself. Also it depends on the nature of business that you're doing. I mean, so many factors that come into play that a lot of times a lot of people just quit business because they're so hurt because of things that have occurred and they least expected because they feel like, well, I'm a good person. How come this has to happen to me? How come I have to run into these type of individuals, and why? When we understand that a lot of the times is simply because of us not knowing our self-value, not knowing our self-worth, it becomes the reason why we keep having to expense out our emotions, our mental, our physical, our financial, our spiritual. And that in turn can create a distrust in business, a dislike. We become burned out and just simply turned off from being entrepreneurs and being in business. So I want you guys to know that the more you practice worth, self value, understanding that rejection is going to happen in the entrepreneurial journey. You're going to always get rejected. Somebody's not going to like your prices. Somebody's not going to like you. Somebody's not going to like what you're doing. Who cares? Who cares? Do you like it? What's the reason that you started your business? Simply because it was something of value and of worth to you, not just to the individual. You're going to always find your tribe when you learn how to be authentic to yourself, as well as understanding that the more you deposit and the more you credit within yourself, the less you have to expense out and the less that you transact with individuals that create deficits in you and in your business. So hopefully you guys have learned something from me. Hopefully you start to take into consideration that everything in business is definitely transactional, and there's never going to be a time that you just have a perfect business or a perfect client or a perfect situation. But you can create the balance within yourself when you understand business is transactional. Watch what you are transacting, watch what you are expensing, watch what you are debiting, and watch what you are also depositing. Hopefully, you guys can take some advice from this video, and hopefully, I have been a help to you. I am going to continue my contract work, and I want you guys to know that I love you if nobody told it to you today, and hopefully, I can see you next time in the next video. I will see you guys later, and you guys have a good day. Bye.